So we thought ki, yeah, there's something to it, because these are the people who are calling us from their own end. It's not that we are calling them and they're saying, sir, aapko kaisa laga hai? Aisa kuch nahi hai. Like सामने से लोग call कर रहे थे. That was the most exciting thing, I would say. Like, I've rarely have seen such a strong customer pull in my journey of like 5-6 years.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Q&A series. I'm your host, Prasad Patkar, and as always, I try my level best to bring interesting and informative topics to your doorsteps by presenting to you stories from entrepreneurs, startup founders, policymakers, government officials, and MSME enterprises. So today we are doing an intriguing interview on startups. Intriguing because we have a startup working for the MSMEs. So without further ado, let us hear from the horse's mouth. We have Mr. Adarsh Kumar with us, one of the trifecta, or what you call the one of the Trimurti in Indian terms of PagarBook. Adarsh, welcome to Startup Duniya. Okay, so Adarsh, welcome to Startup Duniya. Since we introduce startup founders and since we introduce their startups, we want to know about your journey. Basically, there is a story to every startup founders. We're talking about startups as well, but we want to know your journey, like from where you started. How did you come to what you have made right now?
Okay, sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. And so basically, I'm a graduate of IIT Bombay 2016. We have three co-founders, me, Rupesh, and Arya. Me and Arya met in college itself. I met Rupesh after passing out, 1 year after passing out, roughly in 2017. And in college itself, like we used to do a lot of things. Like I was a part of few startups along with Arya. In between, we also started a few things just for side projects or something. Me and Arya. Then me and Rupesh met in early parts of 2017. We were like at that time, if you we tried something into blockchain technology. We were building a healthcare insurance claim settlement portal in blockchain Ethereum. That didn't fly off really well. We had the tech and product ready, but dealing with enterprises and all, it requires a different level of expertise, and a lot of things go here and there. Then in middle of 2018, we started Gyanap. This time, me, Rupesh, and Arya. And Gyanap was essentially a knowledge sharing platform, uh, somewhat like Quora, but it was built for Indian audiences. We built it for Hindi and Malayalam folks. And basically, the motivation behind starting Gyanap was we wanted to build a platform. Suppose if you want to learn anything in English, okay, if you want to learn how are like about astronauts, or if you want to know anything about, if you want to learn anything about cooking or calculus or anything, there is no shortage of content or platforms in English. Such is not the case with Hindi and other Indian regional languages. We wanted to build a platform where people can learn in whatever topics they want in their own regional languages. And also, a lot of people with that I knew, me and like all three of us come from typical tier 2, tier 3 background. My dad was in the Indian Air Force. Rupesh's dad was a small businessman, and Arya's dad was a professor in a government college. Okay, so we all three come from such a background that we empathize with such users a lot. We have seen the potential that tier 2, tier 3 folks have. Okay, so that was our core motivation. We wanted to build a platform where these people can learn in their own languages, as well as they can express their intellect in their own language. No need to express yourself, your knowledge, your thoughts in English only. Okay, so that was the main motivation. We started it. We got seed funded by India Quotient. India Quotient is a VC firm based out of Bombay, and yeah, it was doing good. At our peak, we were at like 2.5 million monthly active users. But due to certain reasons, we had to shut down the operations of Gyanap in October of 2019. But we were very sure that we wanted to build for this TG only, for the tier 2, tier 3 folks only. But this time we thought, "Ki, let's start slightly smart in the in the tier 2, tier 3 segment also. Let's try to go from top to down. So if you go to any small town like Lucknow, Siwan, Samastipur, any town, you'll find out that the top people are mostly doing some business or have some political alliances. Okay, so we thought, let's try to solve for people having some businesses. So hence we ventured into the SME space, and also genuinely wanted, it gave us a it gave us a window into the lives of the 200 300 million SME employees that are working in this sector. Okay, and that's when we went to meet around 300 400 SME owners across different breadths of the country. We went to Patna, Siwan, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Indore, all all the different parts of the country to understand what their problems were. So there were a ton of problems, but thankfully some of them were already been solved. And the like first problem that we saw was very common was maintaining their Bahi Khata, which startups like KhataBook and OkCredit are already solving it to some extent. And then we saw problems related to accounting and like invoice management and inventory management, which also startups like Vyapar and Billbook and these startups like these are solving to some extent for some of the sectors. So the problem that we found really interesting was the problem they were facing regarding their staff management. Now, what happens in this sector, in the SME sector, is the salary of the employees is slightly less. It's like 15,000, 12,000, 18,000, 20,000, like in this range. Okay. So they the employees keep on taking some advances in even if the month is not over. Okay. So I've sometime he will go and ask for 500 rupees some medical emergency, or 2,000 rupees sometimes for some other emergency or need. Okay. So it becomes really tricky to keep track of like every payable to your employee, and at the end of the month you have to deduct all those advances and then give the salary. Okay, so if you're like more than 3 4 employees, genuinely it's cumbersome and people maintain a different register for it. Secondly, the since the SMEs work on slightly thin margins, they try to optimize on each and every cost. Okay, one of the biggest costs they incur is the labor cost. Now, people working in mostly in the white collar sectors don't face such stringent things, but we have the liberty to work a night out or like come slightly uh, delayed due to some reasons, or a day or another. Okay, but here the attendance is tracked very diligently, I would say. Okay, and so that even if like it is like calculated to the minute sometimes. So even if I'm like half a day late or 30 minutes late, or if I do 2 hours of overtime, okay, then I'm rewarded also accordingly. But calculation is mostly like the attendance is very rigorous. Okay, so these were the two key problems that we found. So the employers used to maintain two registers, one for the finances of the employees and one for the attendance of the employees. And finally, at the end of the month, they will reconcile both of them, make a salary. Usually, the like takes like 1.5 2 days of your bandwidth if you have like decent like 5 7 employees. Okay, so that is what we found very interesting, that if we can solve this problem, it would be genuinely helpful for the employer. But even the more exciting part that we found was that this if we are able to crack this problem, we will get an insight into the lives of 200 300 million SME workers. Now these are the workers who have been earning 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, 20,000, but and they do not have a financial or a professional footprint on the internet. Okay, now if
Yeah.
even if even if a bank wants to lend someone, or even if a bank wants to provide some sort of financial services to these employees, they do not have data points, they do not have his salary slip. Okay, they don't have any of his footprint available digitally, which can be meaningful for a bank to take a decision on him. Okay, so that is the part that excited us the most, that if at all we are able to crack this problem, we might be able to help a lot of like people, and hundreds of millions of people, to maybe some certain extent financially, certain extent professionally. Okay, so these were the two key reasons why we thought of starting up. Why we thought of doing this idea. We came back, we were just four people, and like me, Rupesh, Arya, and Sachin. We are four, like from the all four from the Gyanap team. Only Arya coded in all four of us. So we came back. We made the app in like 5 6 days, and this time what we knew we are not copy pasting anything. Okay, we are building entirely from new. It's not that we are copying some American HRMS and building it, because it had some different level of problems. You cannot just simply copy paste some other product because you're building it for a different kind of TG. Okay, so we knew that people had to reject the first version. So we put a very bold this thing button saying कि आपको अगर कोई भी help या suggestion चाहिए, the first version was launched in English only, no Hindi, no English, in English. आपको कुछ भी help या suggestion चाहिए, इस पे click कीजिए, and on clicking on that, our co-founder's Rupesh number was given on that. So in 3 4 days we got around 400 500 downloads, and out of which like उसमें से roughly 80 to 100 people reached us from their own end. They reached out to us saying that the app is lovely, but can you also please add this feature? The app is not good because it does not have this feature. Can you please give the feature of report download? Can you like it was a very basic MVP version, so it didn't have too much things. Okay, so we thought ki yeah, there's something to it, because these are the people who are calling us from their own end. It's not that we are calling them and they're saying sir आपको कैसा लगा ऐप, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, like सामने से लोग कॉल कर रहे थे. That was the most exciting thing, I would say. Like, I've seen such a strong customer pull in my journey of like 5-6 years. Okay, so that was really exciting. That's the moment that we decided ki there's something to it. We came back, we started officially our journey in January, mid of January, and since then we have been growing a lot. We have more than 5 million registered employers with us. We have more than 12 million registered employees with us. So doing good on that part.
Yeah,
And
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you've spoken about the journey from Gyanap to PagarBook. I mean, obviously you've seen the ups and downs, and but you tend to know the demographics. We keep calling there are two Indias, one is the India and the other one is Bharat. So you tend to know the demographics of Bharat very well. So
Hmm.
was it difficult for you to to tap into, although you're providing a solution, but here you're providing a solution to such a massive unorganized sector. I mean, MSMEs are the backbone of the Indian economy, but they tend to be in such an unorganized sector. It becomes mighty difficult to come up with solutions for them.
So like initially we there was some hindrance in the mind ki will be, because obviously if you have to look at the tier 2 tier 3 folks, internet came for them like literally like 5-6 years ago only, since the geo boom and everything. Okay, so we were slightly skeptical when we are starting our Gyanap journey only ki will the people be using like will the people be writing, will the people be reading. Okay, a lot of misconceptions were shattered back then. Then we did PagarBook, when we have seen we were slightly skeptical here, will people use such advanced SaaS solutions? But again, all those misconceptions were shattered. So there were some like slight doubts, but the only way to remove that doubts were to build it. Okay, so we came back, we built it.
Okay, okay. You spoke about the digitization of SMEs, especially with the geo boom. Do you think like what could be the timeline or the period when this shift started to happen? Was it before demonetization when the geo thing happened, and was it really kind of catapulted your entire thing?
I think in general, like giving internet to all those people,
Yeah.
maybe at some cost and whatever, but it has helped, I think, a lot in general, not just in the SME sector, but the other sectors as well. Like people are genuinely curious. Obviously, maybe they might not be ready for the most scientific or most intellectual things right away, but give them like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. People will be curious. People will be like trying to know a lot of things. People now only, like if you see the 5 million customer base that we have, like everyone is like digitally came on the platform. They knew about like obviously we have done some few TV campaigns and all, but the people are genuinely curious over the internet key what to do. And especially our people, like went to meet these people in Surat, the users have given us meeting at like 2 in the night. Okay, so these are genuinely very hard working people. Like मतलब रात के 3-3 बजे भी मेरी यूजर से बात हुई है. So these are these kind of people. And if they find something that can boost up, like that can help in their business, or that can help their keep their employees happy, or that can help their checks and balances be in order, they genuinely like to explore a lot. मतलब कुछ भी आप देख लीजिए, like I've talked, like not just like when I talk to customers, I don't just talk about PagarBook. I in general ask how things are going, or what kind of other problems they have. A lot of like and the surge of startups that you see, it's a sign that people are curious, hence these startups are coming. Otherwise there's no way that a lot of startups are coming and people are not using it. So it is also a good indicator ki how curious the folks are to solve their business problems. So the amount of funding, the number of startups that have come up is also a good indicator of the curiosity of SME owners.
Okay, yeah, there is definitely a demand. So because there is a demand, you're seeing this sudden boom and surge in the startups. Okay, now we have spoken a lot about the journey. We have spoken how we came to PagarBook. let's discuss the kernel of PagarBook, the technology. What was the idea behind the software? Because MSME owners obviously they know their business as well, but when it comes to technology, they tend to be a little laid back. So explain us the technicalities as to how this entire thing functions.
So yeah, it's a very simple application. Hence, I like this app has initially when we built, okay, we built only for uh, the very basic MVP. Then we started speaking to customers. Till now, I've spoken to more than 5,000 customers. So a lot of different kind of demands started coming in. Okay, like some people had some people. I will give you a very small example. Some people have run their calendar by when 30 days will be fixed in a month, irrespective it's a Feb or a Jan or a March. Some people will go by a calendar. So all these kinds of settings are there, different shift hours and all. But if you're a basic user, if you don't want to use all those settings and all, so the UX of the app is developed in such a way that you won't be forced to use all the things that are there in the app. You will only discover those things in your journey that you require. Okay, so these things like that have really kept the UX or the usability of the app really well. Secondly, when you talk to customers on a daily basis, you understand what is working, what is not. We are not those kind of founders who just rely on the metrics. Okay, now also like we have more than 5 million registered employees. We have a proper customer support team and everything. But at the moment also, like I Rupesh, and we speak to more than 10-15 customers a day. Yesterday I also randomly went for a customer visit. So these are the things that I think would generally help us to keep the UX and in general the product as simple as possible. And talking about the processes and all, it's genuinely very, we don't ask for any kind of validation in the app कि आपका GST number है तभी हम आपको आने देंगे, ऐसा nothing like that. We have like very simple onboarding. You just enter your name, your business name, that's it. You and your phone number. For adding your employee, just the name of the employee, phone number if you want him to receive a message on every advance that you give, or any attendance that you mark, anything. And then what kind of employee he, like is he or she, like is he monthly basis, daily basis, or work basis, and what is their salary, that's it. So it's really easy. And we have also heavily assisted the app with a lot of help videos at sometimes whenever it is required. We have a very high quality customer support, although not like we use our customer support, I would say, to collect more insights for our product roadmap than to like obviously some people face problem, but for us customer support is to, for us it's for more to gain the insights to build the future roadmap.
Correct. Correct. Okay, I think you've elaborated the tech part pretty well. Tell us about the current status of PagarBook. What are the fresh activities which are happening? How many users you're having? The user base. Give us the statistics. Give us this insight into the statistics.
So at the moment, we have like more than 5.5 million registered employers, and roughly 12 million registered employees with us. Recently, around 2.5-3 months ago, we launched our premium paid version on the desktop. Okay, it's on web.pagarbook.com. We just launched like 2.5-3 months ago, and we have like more than 6,000 paid, 6,200 paid customers on the desktop, active on the desktop premium. And recently, like 20 days ago, we launched our premium version of the app itself. The basic version is still free and everything works there. It's just for the few additional things, like if you want your employees to mark an attendance via your facial recognition, like selfie and GPS, then there is a premium set of features also available. We just launched that like 20 days ago, and we have more than 2,000 paid subscribers on our app, our Android app as well. So I think, yeah, I've not seen a lot of companies doing apps as that fast. So these would be the key things that like we are not those kind of founders that like they will build a story for 10,000 years, then we'll start do something that ye wo, and then after 20,000 years we'll start generating revenue. The moment we believe in it, we go for it. अगर आप if you would have looked into like अभी से 4 months ago, if you would have typed PagarBook on Google, if out of the 10 queries, 7 queries will be like this कि PagarBook for desktop, PagarBook for PC, PagarBook for Windows. Okay, ऐसे करके query. There was such a high demand for desktop version that we felt कि यार, this has to be like, obviously there is a free trial for 7 days, and then a lot of people requested it, and so we built it.
Correct. And also, when you do a cursory Google search about PagarBook, a lot of things about PagarBook are generally what kind of solutions and what kind of things happen. And when you tend to talk about startups, there are a lot of superficial things that get associated with the startup. Like you said, you hear a lot of stories, you hear a lot of creative things which are kind of affiliated. But when we as we call ourselves as the voice of the MSME. So when we tend to look for something as simple as MSMEs or a PagarBook, we find the right solutions there on the internet. So okay, now tell me what's next. I mean, what is PagarBook looking forward? What are the expansion plans? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. So, yeah, 2020 was the year of growth for us. 2021 will be the year for revenue for us, plus few experimentations. Obviously, we are like putting every force behind getting to a very, very decent revenue number. Obviously, cannot make it public as of now, but we are targeting like very aggressively on the revenue front. Plus, the thing that we were initially very excited about was key to enter into the domain of the financial and professional domain of employees. We are experimenting heavily in that direction as well. So yeah, so majorly it will be revenue and growth focus plus few experimentations on the fintech side. A lot of experimentations go behind that. So yeah, we are yet to find the thing that will scale to a very big scale. But yeah, the experimentations are heavily going on the fintech part. So yes.
Nice, nice. Also, how do you look at the competition in the sector? I mean, there is a bit of a clutter which has kind of developed. How do you keep yourself abreast with the challenges? How do you work on, differentiating PagarBook with the rest?
Yeah, I think generally my biggest learning from like our biggest learning from doing Gyanap to PagarBook is just talk to your customers, man. That is it. Like that that shows you the product roadmap. That shows you how to make your bugs. That shows you how to experiment and everything. One, like, if at all there is one, like, I am usually not the person to give advice or anything, but if at all I have to give one, it will be just talk to your customers every day. मतलब कुछ ना कुछ random कहानियां सुन के आएंगी आपको.
Yes.
We have had like 100 video calls. मतलब हमारे customers ऐसे वीडियो कॉल कर देते हैं सीधा WhatsApp पे. Sometimes it's fun also. So I think yeah, competition, yeah, genuinely feel कि there is a lot for everyone in this SME space.
Yeah.
It's not just कि one company will
Right.
like take it all. Yeah, ye wo, like if you would have heard about Elon Musk, he said once ki we are all in a sinking boat and we are just trying to plug one hole, right? So
Yeah.
we have to look it from that. So the goal from nation's perspective ki should be ki after 5 years majority of the SME should be digitized, okay, so that
Yeah.
economy grows, GDP grows at a very, very rapid rate, the credit to GDP ratio improves and everything, okay. So from a nationwide goal, the goal should be to digitizing these SMEs in any which way. I would be the most happy if people come in and they help SMEs in digitizing few of the spaces that are left, okay. So I think it's good to have such kind of a competition, because at the end the goal is to digitize these SMEs, and obviously there will be some winners, there will be some losers, but we why we will stay ahead of the curve is like because we believe in our customers, and like genuinely, like abhi bhi, I have never seen, I've not seen much founders who have spoken more than like 4,000 5,000 customers. So that is it. Like I think you might be like seeing my the last 20 25 minutes I've been just talking about this point. It's genuinely goddamn important.
No,
So
true, true, true. Because also, I've been reading your stories on Medium. A lot of it revolves around how you have been reaching to solutions through your customers. So, in a
yeah,
way, that's a very good point. You spoke about competition, because if we have healthy competition, everybody tends to grow. And at the end of the day, how you're helping the MSMEs matter. So, good,
yes.
Great. That was an excellent explanation. I'll move a little tangential. What was the idea behind Akshay Kumar?
Akshay Kumar, yeah, I think me, Rupesh, and Arya, we were just sitting and discussing things like this was around May, June. We were just discussing how to like, fly. Matlab, we were at like we just crossed the million mark. The targets that we set in our mind was कि यार in the next 4-5 months 5 million crack करना है कुछ भी करके है ना. So we were just discussing. Then if you would have heard of Kunal Shah, the founder of Cred, so he he's also like like is a good friend of us. So we were having a word with him, and he also like we suggested ki can we hire someone as a brand ambassador. Then at the same moment all three of us spoke Akshay Kumar. I don't know how it came, pata nahi, he has a very good image of both the sides, the left, the right, and like Mr. Bharat, if you can call him, right, has done a lot of patriotic movies, has a decent brand. And so we were having our first call with Akshay Kumar, and Akshay Kumar asked us कि there are a lot of good A-listers in the Bollywood. Why did you choose me? So like I said to him कि sir मैंने अपने users से जब रात के 3-3 बजे बात की, like I see that hustle in them, and these are like the, we wanted some celebrity जो with whom like our SME owners can relate that hustle to. So Akshay Kumar Akshay Kumar's name came first to the mind. And the hustle, obviously everyone has hustled a lot, but maybe yeah, Akshay Kumar's hustle is, and also there's a lot of angle to what he does for too much for the country and all. He goes and meets the soldiers. So a lot of things.
Correct. Yeah, and when you speak about the MSME owners or the SMEs owners, they don't have that typical 9 to 5 work culture. You have those. We tend to call them. They have 25 hours in a day. And when you talk about Akshay Kumar, he symbolizes that kind of a lifestyle. Waking up early in the morning, do
Yeah, yeah.
exercises, doing 5 films at a time. So that was an excellent choice. I raised this question because we have so many brands who go completely haywire, who go completely uh, off with their brand endorsement. But this was pretty congruent and pretty symbolic of what PagarBook intends to be. Adarsh, you've already said that you aren't the kind of person who love to discuss or who would love to give advice, but I mean, we have to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Give
sure,
us,
sure.
give us. It could be. I'm not asking for an advice. It could be a mantra. It could be a philosophy. It could be just a working experience that you would like to share with your viewers, with entrepreneurs, whether they're aspiring ones or existing ones, the business owners. What is that?
Yeah, I think the first one would be genuinely listen to the customers and just go and build it. Lot of things. A lot of times I've seen like I talk to a lot of people from my college who reach out to me, or in general, a lot of people who are in the entrepreneur committee or trying to start up. What I meant was I generally don't give out advice. Is I meant it. I don't like to force people to do or tell them कि नहीं यही करना है और ये वो. So when these people come, a lot of time people what do they over calculate, they try to optimize for 0.1% or this thing. Don't do that, just go and build it, and don't over optimize, I would say, or don't even optimize in the early stages, है ना. If you suppose like this we have done, and then this goes for everything. When you're trying to bring in on investors on board, or when you're trying to make a product decision, or when you're building your sales team, or when you're building your post sales team or anything, just don't try to like over optimize for things when they are not in like when until it's like they're ready to scale. Then what happens is you lose out on the big picture things. So that has been like these have been the two key learnings for me from Gyanap to PagarBook. Number one was keep talk to customers. Okay, in Gyanap I just talked to around not more than 300-400 people over my journey of like 1.5 years. But in PagarBook, me and Rupesh collectively we have spoken to more than 7-8 thousand customers in the last 10-11 months. So that was our biggest learning. Second was again this we already knew, but we are generally not those kind of founders ki नहीं आज सब कुछ को ऑप्टिमाइज करेंगे, आज देखते हैं कितना खर्चा आ रहा है. And but this obviously this goes for strictly for people who are slightly funded. This is not for genuine hustlers. They have to do their bit. But yes, this is for this advice is only meant for people like who have some VC money, so that they have some slight amount of luxury of, for not just for a money point of view, but just for like uh, peace of mind rahega thoda sa, you have time to think. So this is for them. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was a pretty good explanation of you. You're pretty customer centric, customer is the king, that you tend to harp on. Adarsh, let's move. I want to kind of make it a little casual because we are moving into the climax that we call of our Q&A session. Is there something, certain personalities, or is there something which motivates you? Whether it could be a book, it could be a personality, it could be some kind of a philosophy or a concept. What keeps you going?
Yeah, so like my in general, my short term vision for the next 15-20 years is to build uh, products for the tier 2 tier 3 folks. So maybe but my end goal is like I want to build a planet sometime. Like we all want to build a planet sometime, maybe 40 years, 50 years from now. I don't know, a planet maybe the size of Bangalore, just revolving in space. That is my end goal. So uh, I don't know whether this sound may sound very very foolish or very very random, but yeah, that is what.
Why
Uh,
not? Why not?
so that is,
Dream.
and
I
in
mean, yeah.
general, yeah, and in general, I like sometimes I go for flying planes. I'm in the process of getting a license. So yeah,
Okay. Okay, great, excellent. Adarsh, that was, I mean, this is why we do stories, because we have this certain kind of notions which is attached to startup founders, that they talk in thesaurus, or they talk in certain jargons or terminologies. But this is why we have people like you, where because you're dealing with the MSMEs, we talk about products and brand, but here you're providing a solution. So we talk about the problem and we talk about the solution. So this is why we ourselves get very excited to
Mhm.
interview something as interesting as PagarBook. It was great to have you on Startup Duniya. We would love to see the entire trifecta sometime in the future. The other two heads of PagarBook. We
Sure.
would love to have the rest of the team for certain future conferences, meetings, because since we are dedicated to the MSMEs, and PagarBook as a company is dedicated to the MSMEs in a very 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 large way. So it was great talking to you, Adarsh. I think we'll have more such conversation in the future. This
Definitely.
is it from here. Before I leave, you can watch this interview with the founder of PagarBook on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as on our website, www.smeventure.com. It's a final bye from my side, and thank you, Adarsh, for coming on the show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.